Hey, it's Papa Bear. I had something else that I wanted to say. Mama Bear's changing into some pajamas right now, trying to get comfortable for the rest of the night. But, she was talking about dark clouds. And over the last couple of weeks with, the things that's been going on in our lives and everything, there's been quite a few dark clouds and people that have been trying to, make it into thunderstorms, so to speak. And like I said, I've had it on my mind and I prayed about it, and it just came to me that, and I talked to Mama Bear about it, this is our family. This is our happiness. This is our sunshine. And we shouldn't let anyone else have the power to be a dark cloud in our life. No matter what they try to do or how they try to, snipe at the edges and get involved in our lives and bring us down and try to make us depressed or upset or worried or stressed or, aggravated to the point where it's affecting our relationship or our family or any of that. I mean, if we're not being us, if we're not walking around on sunshine and being happy and joking and playing and making each other feel really good, then something's obviously wrong. And that person, whether or not we tell ourselves it didn't affect us or didn't affect us that much or we're going to forget about it, it obviously had an impact because we're not being us anymore. And so we made the decision today that we're going to try really hard and we're going to not let those people who are creating those dark clouds have an effect on our family. All these pictures behind me and all the things that you hear us say, and that's not just us expressing some kind of fairy tale or what we want our lives to be like. That really is what our lives are like. I mean, we're happy 98% of the time. And when these things come up and the situation with Mama Bear and some of the stuff you guys may have saw on Facebook and just friends in your life that you think are friends and you find out that they don't always have your best interests at heart, that hurts really, really bad. And how you deal with that when you're in a situation where you have a family and you have this incredible support network and people to lean on, and everybody's concerned about everybody and we're all each other's sunshine. When you have that, as much as that may hurt, it's best to lean on that person. It's best to worry about how you being upset affects everybody else in the situation. And because it's not just me, if it's a dark cloud and something comes up and my heart's hurt over it, how I react affects everybody else. It affects the kids, it affects the animals, it affects Mama Bear, and the best thing to do is not to hold it in and be stressed about it, to talk about it, wash it away, pray about it, leave it in God's hands, and be happy with what you do have. Because what you don't have or what you've lost doesn't really impact the future that you have, because it's not really important at the end of the day, even if it is a friend, if it's a really good friend, because that person should know you and should know how you are and should know what not to do,
how to treat you,
to make you unhappy, should know how to treat you, should know what to do to make you happy. A real friend's not gonna do certain things or be shady and try to be two-faced. To be honest, just be completely two-faced. Be with you one way and be with somebody else a different way. And so do you really need that kind of friend in your life? Do you need somebody who 6 months from now, if everything's all forgiven, could do it again? And I say you never close a door, but you don't let it obsess your life and your happiness with that kind of stuff. You just let it, it's kind of like leaves in a river. You throw it in there and you let it wash it away. You let the sunshine come out and you have a picnic on that riverbank. with the people who really do matter. You focus on those friends and you give those friends time that do matter in your life. You know, that are there for you and
That
will
do
always
care
be
about
there
you.
for you, and who obviously have your best interest at heart, that there's no question about, and that have proven themselves time after time that that's what they're about. And not waste your time on somebody that's not going to care that you're sitting at home concerned or worried or scared or frightened or upset, or how it's affecting you and your family. Because somebody that cares about you, they're not going to do things to hurt your feelings, because they don't want it to affect your family life. They don't want it to affect how your interaction is in your relationship. They don't want it to affect anything that has to do with you, because they're concerned about your feelings and your heart. And if they're not, to be honest with you, and it may sound crass and it may sound like I'm being cynical, but you just really don't have time for those kind of people in your life.
You don't need the effects of that brings.
I mean, we're all busy people. I know we talk about how busy we are all the time, but I know that other people out there are very busy. You're trying to manage your work life, your relationship, your family life, your need to do things that are fun. You do all of these things, and you don't have time to deal with people who don't have your best interest at heart. You really don't. And I'm not saying you shouldn't help people. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be there for people. But there's a difference between opening the door so wide that they can just come in and wreck everything that you have, and opening the door enough so that if someone's in need, you can still help them. But you shield what's important from all that
Especially when
chaos.
those who have already hurt you.
Right.
And you can forgive. That's definitely what needs to happen, but it doesn't mean you have to continue letting it happen.
Right.
And I'm getting stronger.
It's not about you getting stronger.
I know, I'm saying being able to do the things like you said, and look at it like that.
Well, I was guilty too with the trash that I got rid of today.
Yeah.
I was guilty with stress and worry and all of those little conversations and things that, we had over the last week or two. Was my dark clouds or your dark clouds? The point is that during all of those times that we had those conversations that had to do with worry and stress and, concern, whatever it was, we were taken away from each other. We were taken away from the kids. We were taken away from the animals. We were taken away from
The things that make us happy.
Right. And so then we weren't able to do those things that make us happy. And it kind of like, we're on a roller coaster and we're going to the top and we're happy. Then all of a sudden we're down at the bottom again,
It's like you said, when we're happy and like us and not letting things like that get to us, we are on top of our game. We're on top of everything as far as work and home and everything. But
That's
when
true.
those little things come in, like you said, it just we do kind of let this go, and because we can't get out of that feeling, shake that feeling, because
Right.
we're trying to get past that and still processing that and dealing with that it does kind of bring us away from being on top of our game. But if we do, like you said, and just give it to God and just move on and continue being us and continue being the happy us that we are, then they won't affect us like that.
And you live by example. And people, even those people that may have been in dark clouds, they see that you're not affected by it, and they see what real happiness is, and they see that that's what it's all about. And maybe they say, hey, I want to be there someday, and it changes them. And they're not selfish, and they don't do the things that they did to hurt people. And it may not ever be the same relationship with you and that individual, but their future relationships may be improved, and they
Right.
may change into a better person. And so at the end of the day, it really is a good thing,
Yeah.
So, but
So really,
that's what I wanted to say. It's just been something that's been on my mind. I prayed about it. It made me think about an old movie when I was going to pick up supper earlier, and I'm not going to get into that, but the moral of the story kind of is, focus on what's really important in life, and don't let the things that aren't really important ruin the things that are. And I know everybody's probably guilty of that to some extent, and maybe everybody out there has it all figured out. Maybe I just now am getting it, but I just felt like I had to need to say something about it, because I'm really hoping that this epiphany helps us in our relationship going forward. And every time I say I don't think we could be stronger, it seems like there's something else out there that we find that makes us stronger, brings us closer together. And even those dark clouds, for all the interruptions that they have in our lives, it still brings us closer together. And I love that about us.
Me too.
Well, thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Bye.